sometimes it just cuts off. So,
Sure, sure. What part of Idaho are you in?
yes, sir. I'm in uh, a little bit of 2.5 hours above Boise, so straight north towards Cambridge, and then up in the
Okay.
mountains, actually off grid.
Oh, wow. Good for
Yes,
you.
sir.
That's
Um,
great.
I love it. I love living off grid.
Yeah, wonderful. Good for you. Yeah, we have Bill Simpson coming on the show. He's with the Wild Horse Fire Brigade.
Oh, is that the gentleman that
Wonderful guy.
yes, I think I have watched him before and he's
Mm,
saving the wild horses, right?
he is.
Oh, he was so interesting. I had never uh learned so much about wild horses. Now it just it breaks my
I didn't
heart.
know myself. He's brilliant, and look forward to he'll be on the show in the next couple of months, and looking forward to that.
Good. But is he coming on today too? You
No,
mean,
not today,
oh no. Okay.
but he'll be on soon. He'll be on.
Okay. Oh, let's see. Looks at me.
You've got a question. Are you near Salmon? I'm not sure
Um,
what that is.
no,
You'll be south of Coeur d'Alene, right?
I'm much further south than that. Yeah, I would say more near Weiser and
Mm.
Boise. So 2.5 hours above Boise is kind of like, well, it's Cambridge pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
That's
I'm just that's our big city is Cambridge, and there's like barely over
okay.
300 people. So yes, sir.
That's the big city.
Yes, sir. I have to go 30 minutes to just go get my PO box.
Mm. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, our all our techie stuff is set, so we're going to get going, and I'll just give me, I'll start the show and I'll bring you on. So just
Okay, yes, sir. I'll try my
excited.
best.
Oh no, you're wonderful. So it's just appreciate you being here. We'll have a good
Thanks for
conversation.
having me.
Absolutely, it's an honor. Welcome everyone to Mondays with Michael. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Gaeta. Greetings to you wherever you are. I am transmitting to you from Colorado, and I'm very glad that you are with us today, regardless of where you are. A warm welcome. If you'd like, we're streaming to several different pages and platforms today. If you'd like to introduce yourself, we love to hear from you wherever you're listening on to. If you are on our watch page or our Zoom link, we can take your questions today as well. So, really delighted to have this week's guest with us. Real honor to have a, health freedom heroine coming to us from Idaho. Those of us in the health freedom movement, she is a rock star. She is just very appreciated by many for her fearless and tireless work taking a stand for health freedom. So, if you're just joining us for the first time, this is an offering of the Gaeta Institute for Holistic Health Education. Our motto here is nature first, drugs last, as with our clinic for Chinese and functional medicine. So, a warm welcome to show 309 for this March 30th, 2026. We are just starting our 7th year of the show, which started with in the early months of the pandemic. Our first show was March 18th, 2020. And so we are into year 7. It's wonderful to continue to be with you. Our show continues to grow, and it's just wonderful to continue that process and journey with you, telling the truth about natural health and health freedom. Those are our two topics for the show. So, really delighted to have on the show Laura Demery. She is a nurse in Idaho. I'm going to read a little bit about her. And she is just someone we really appreciate her incredible work in taking a stand for health freedom. And she is just amazing. So, just going to read a little bit about her, and then we're going to bring her on. Laura Demery is a registered nurse in Idaho and Oregon. She's also a certified wound ostomy nurse, which she will explain for those of us who don't know what that is, specializing also in care for the elderly and those with developmental disabilities. Laura's also working on her master's degree in public policy. She's traveled to more than 17 countries and made overseas mission trips to India, Brazil, and Costa Rica. She was the first woman, this is pretty impressive. She was the first woman to inline skate across the country and Alaska to raise awareness and funding for abused women and children. She has also volunteered on political campaigns and ministries for the homeless. Laura is now focused on raising awareness about the adverse effect of the genocide jab, the murder weapon, the poison death shot. We're talking about the COVID injections and all the genetic biologic technology on humans, animals, food, and the blood supply. Laura's goal is to remove this harmful gene therapy from the child vaccine schedule and eventually the entire market, and establish also a direct donor blood law in Idaho. Laura loves the Lord and is most thankful for her family, including many grandchildren. So she is an amazing nurse and health freedom activist, and we are delighted to have her with us today. So, whatever platform you're on, please type in whatever comments you have there available, and let's give a warm welcome, a warm Mondays with Michael welcome to the amazing Laura Demery. Laura, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hi. Thank you so much, Dr. Gaeta, for having me today.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you. Thank you. On behalf of many who benefit from your work in taking a stand for health freedom, we appreciate you and your incredible work. So folks who are a little less familiar with your story, you've had quite a background. You are an amazing mom and nurse. And how did you come? I'm sure when you were in nursing school, you didn't plan on being a leading health freedom activist, calling out these nefarious operations with these injections and gene technology. So tell us a little bit about your story and how you came to be doing the work you're doing.
Yes, sir. I've, kind of been a prepper since way back. Uh, I think it started, we had mentioned earlier today when I was younger, I always thought that, and I know this sounds strange, but I always thought that I would grow up and work for the World Health Organization when I was young, and I
Okay.
didn't know anything that they were trying to kill us, and create a slave society. But um, I didn't know that at the time, and I practiced every language. I had grown up,
Mm,
traveling around the world because I lived in the Middle East when I was
mm,
younger, and I just, I love language, culture, people, and so that being said, just God's journey for me brought me across the globe and also through a lot of different religions. I was always
yeah,
looking for God in all the wrong
sure.
places.
Sure.
Um, and so he brought me into really, I would say, I'm a born again Christian, and then
Mm,
also um, so following his prompting and being faithful is that's what I want to be remembered for is my love of
mm,
him and that I was faithful. So that kind of made me a prepper once I figured out all the rabbit holes and that kind of thing.
sure.
And and so brought me from Alaska to Idaho. I raised my children in Alaska, and
Wow.
yes, sir. And we moved to Idaho about 8 years ago, just before
Okay.
COVID, and we just felt a strong prompting. Didn't know why, and we found this little place off grid, um, and I didn't know what I was ready for, but I knew I was ready. And
Mm,
we don't always know the whole picture. We can just see,
right.
um, through God's word, and then also reading a lot of data on all sides. You can kind of
Mm,
see data points, inflection points, and so we were off grid and ready. Didn't know for what, but and then when we saw COVID hitting, actually at the end of 2019, we started to work really hard to kind of be all financially free to
mm,
be able to deal with whatever the response was going to be. I figured that
Right.
was it. I figured it'd be EMP or pestilence, and so it was pestilence. And
Oh,
yes,
oh,
sir. And so that's we were ready from the get go,
mm,
and to follow. I mean, we don't know all the answers, but God
yeah,
always shows us.
yes.
I mean, just reading the Word of God is like reading the news, and
Right, right.
yes, sir. So we were
Mm,
ready from the get go, and when
mm,
um just the first thing I did was kind of reach out to people who were speaking publicly. For
mm.
example, before Dr. McCullough was famous, I hunted him down. I just, people are
Okay,
kind of used to my persistence, and
sure.
so they end up, that's why all the scientists come to my presentations in these little counties and whatnot, because I think they
Wow.
just give up. They're like, this girl is not going to quit bother me, so I just need to say yes. Um,
Oh, wow.
and so I called Dr. McCullough and introduced myself, and our first conversation was and we were great friends. We're still friends. He shows up whenever he can to any of my presentations for free.
Mm,
These
mm,
people don't charge. These are just warriors
mm.
in the fight.
Right.
But our first conversation was, and this was when the vaccines first started, or the injections
Mm,
started coming out. Um, he said, don't ever take this no matter what they do to you. And I'm
mm.
like, and I said I would not.
Wow.
And that actually, he also, remember, you probably remember this, but he had also the early home treatment program. So
Yes.
if I go backwards just a little bit, before the injection came out, our whole community, I mean, we were looking at early home treatment from everywhere. I would look at Dr. Mercola's, Dr.
Sure.
McCullough's,
Yep.
every single thing I could get. And I happened to be in school at the time too, so I could look up all
Mm,
these. It's very challenging to look up studies, as you know, because there's firewalls.
mm.
Well, at the time
Yes.
I was getting a master's, and I still am, but I could look up all kinds of old papers
Oh,
as
okay.
well, and show that the masks actually were harmful.
Right.
They had all of these things, what affected SARS-1. I just dug as much as I could. And I will tell
Mm,
you, our whole Idaho community, even I didn't even know everybody that was in this underground medical, I call it a medical underground railroad. And that
mm,
occurred, as you know, everywhere. In
mm.
every state, there was some sort of semblance of medical underground railroad. And
Yeah.
Idaho had it too. And I mean, even politicians were helping.
Mm,
We were doing everything we can to hit it early, because for the first time in healthcare, care workers and caregivers were told, oh, there's nothing you can do until this vaccine comes. Just
mm,
go home and wait and hope you don't die until the
mm,
vaccine, and that has never been said before, at least
mm.
not in our contemporary
Right.
lifetime.
Right.
So that's it. Jumped in the fray right from the get go. And I pretty much was
Wow.
a rolling hospital in my
Mm,
car. And every day after work, I would do my COVID calls all across the state.
mm,
People just, they just found each other. And
mm.
that's why I called it a medical underground railroad. And then
Yes.
moving forward with the inductions, I confirmed my suspicions with, people, wise counsel, like Dr. McCullen and so many others. And um, reading all the alternative information I could get, studies, anything I could.
Right.
And um, being distrustful in the first place, that's why I'm off grid.
Right.
um, I just trust God pretty much. Everything's a clown world, and I don't believe anything
Yep.
except for the word of God at this point in my
Mm.
life. I'm just like, no. I start out like, no, I will confirm. Let me go look. Let me go read
Yes.
the Bible real quick.
Yes. Wow.
So anyway, that's kind of, and then threw in, just being faithful, just met
Yes.
more and more people, event after event, more and more colleagues, friends in the foxhole, I say.
Yes.
Um, and now, as divisive and insane as the world is,
Mm.
um, I will say I have met the best friends I've ever met in my life, and my meaning of superhero has changed. It's
Mm.
doctors and scientists that lost it all, risked it all.
Yes.
That's what should be with a cape on, and on
Right.
X-Men and Marvel Comics, because
Yeah.
that's a real hero. Things like what you do. You're literally looking for root issues despite what the world narrative is.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing, Laura. So, so you're working as a nurse in a hospital setting?
Yes, I never say where because obviously,
Yeah, no, that's okay. But I
yeah,
mean,
yes,
hospital,
sir. I'm still a working nurse and I
that's great.
love my colleagues and patients. I even love where I work. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like two-thirds are like red pilled for sure at this point. And
Oh, good.
yes, sir. And
Now,
being
is
a
that an
light,
Idaho thing?
um, uh, I don't know.
Okay.
I can't say that because
Yeah.
I work in other places besides Idaho.
Sure.
And
Sure.
um, I will say, and also being a kind of always out there fighting this, at this point, I'm a kind of a lightning rod for people
Sure.
sharing their story. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so I will say all across the state, healthcare workers have told me about their, I
Mm.
call them soft injuries, and of
Mm.
course the severe injuries.
Mm.
Obviously the severe injuries are incredible. Like in Idaho, there's 111 permanently disabled. There's 37 dead. But in the
Mm.
world, Rancourt et al. Says 17 million dead, and that was, a year and a half
Right.
ago. So,
Right. Right.
and at React 19, I'm a volunteer for them.
Yeah. Tell us about that organization.
Yes, sir. React 19, I would say, is the biggest hearted group, and
Mm.
I would say the most active to help
Mm.
COVID vaccine injured,
Mm.
or COVID injection injured. And I will say they have almost 40,000 members that have been
Mm.
severely injured. This
Wow.
is just America, because there
Wow.
are groups all across the globe that are very
Okay.
similar to this, following the React 19 model.
Mm.
And they, even now, it's kind of hard to keep up with the emails of people
Mm.
that have been injured. Even now, sir, they're coming in.
Mm. Mm.
Yes, sir. And um, so, yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, I see you put that on the screen. And so, what do? They have a list so far of about 500 doctors. And if any of
Mm.
you doctors are listening out there, there's a private list also. If you are interested in helping the injured, what we do is try to match them up to someone who won't gaslight them. Many
Okay.
people, yeah. So, when people come in and they finally find, and that's Brianne, when they finally find React 19, they have gone to 20 doctors. Some people have gone to
Oh,
44. 44
wow.
doctors is the most I've seen so far. And
Wow.
yes, sir. And they are gaslit.
Mm.
They are still fired by
Mm.
doctors.
Mm.
Um, and so they help you connect privately, essentially, and no money, no money is exchanged. It is
Mm.
all free, free for the
Mm.
docs. We're all volunteers. We don't make money.
Right. Right.
Um, and we just try to connect people with care. And then the
Mm.
other thing is they fight federally. Like they just, the work of Bree and Joel and the administration at React 19, they just got finally real ICD 10 codes. This, we couldn't even
Really?
truly, yes, sir. There were no ICD 10
Wow.
codes. Yeah. There
Wow.
were charge codes and things like that, but not a category in
Mm.
which data can be obtained. And they just won that. And
Mm.
it'll probably take I don't know how long to get integrated into the global system,
Right.
ICD 10 codes essentially help anyone in the entire
Oh,
world
for sure.
uh, track an issue, um,
Right.
charge appropriately for an issue, treat appropriately for an issue. And
Right.
yeah, and they fought the censorship. They're fighting, obviously they're working hard in the ACIP. They were trying to
Right.
address the injuries in the ACIP. There's no compensation for the injured right now. You're on your own.
Mm.
React 19 gives scholarships like seven to $10,000
Mm.
for whatever treatment that you want. Because
Mm.
with the systemic injuries, there's over 1,200 sequelae,
Mm.
disorders,
Mm.
from this gene therapy.
Right.
And um, so everyone is hit differently. It seems to kind of hit you where you're softest.
Mm.
It really reacts and responds genetically. to your genetics, but also just your body chemistry, where are your weak points, things like that. It
Mm,
hits you hardest there. And so it's not one solution, one cure.
right. Right.
And so anyway, $10,000 is just a drop in the bucket because,
Yeah.
injured can cost anywhere from 10,000 to 2 million. Doug,
Oh,
my
sure.
mhm, my friend Doug Cameron, who fights for the gene therapy moratorium with me, he
Mm.
just and within 2 years, maybe three, he was his entire savings and plus $2 million.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
wow. That's incredible. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
been said that the bioweapon was created for the vaccine. The vaccine wasn't created for COVID. In other words, this laboratory monster that was
Mhm.
released was created to coerce people into the real goal, which
Mhm.
was to vaccinate or inject the planet. What is that from in your experience? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. And the congressional hearings point to that as well. And
Mm.
also when you dig alternatively, and look at patents, a lot of excellent exposés by
David Martin
Freedom.
and others. Yeah.
Yes, yes, Dr. David Martin. I don't know him, but I admire him and I listen to everything he says. And so he's one data source, but then Karen Kingston dug deep, Sacha Latypova dug deep. You're
Yes.
now even yes, sir, and you're now even seeing um you're seeing this be tied in even with Epstein
Mm.
files and Dr. Uh, Sanjay G. I think
Okay.
he's digging deep into that on X, and
Mm.
he's digging deep into the correlation and connection. Obviously, and then people can dig deep. Who else is really good at that? Maria Z. I feel like
Yes.
she does a
Yes.
yes, yeah. I don't know if you know her, but I don't know her personally, but
Right. I don't either.
I listen to her stuff, and she does a fantastic job of exposing uh, the rabbit holes, but with proof.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so she dug deep as well into, lockstep.
Mm.
Stop the Crime also digs deep. They show
Mm.
receipts as well.
Mm.
So that lockstep 2010, also obviously Event 201, but there were more. There were more. I would say rabbit trails to that as well.
Yep.
And yes, sir. So I do believe that is so. And there's one other reason that's very easy, or I'd say one other big piece of proof that's very easy
Right.
to connect, and that is that, for example, when you look at Moderna,
Right.
Stephen Bancel was a part of building the Wuhan lab, right? And he was primary in built his
Mm.
company that he worked for prior to creating Moderna. Was a French company, and they were major in the contracts for
Mm.
BSL-4 in Wuhan. Okay,
Mm.
all of a sudden he leaves that company as the
Right.
lab is created and done, and he knows what's coming, obviously, because he's certainly in the, I would say, the medical industrial complex.
Oh.
And so what does he do is create Moderna. He leaves the company that created the
Huh.
BSL-4 lab in Wuhan and then creates Moderna. And that's the only
Oh.
thing that they have really ever done is
Wow.
is this injection.
Mm. Right, because they were nearly out of business or barely functioning, and then here comes this injection that made them tens of billions of dollars.
I would say that the illusion that they were barely functioning was just waiting for timing. That's my
Oh,
humble opinion. I'm I'm
no,
just
that
a
makes
I'm just a
sense.
nurse from the middle of nowhere,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah,
But
yeah. No,
I'm
that
just
makes sense.
watching. There's no coincidences, and
Right.
in my experience, and
Yep.
and so no, they weren't a failed company. They were a company waiting for their timing. Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, Laura, big picture,
Yes, sir.
what's going on here in a because we know now, and you alluded to this, that this thing had been planned for a while. We have patents from 2015 for a COVID-19 test, and so forth. David Martin identified 4,000 patents over 22 years, all related to every aspect of the COVID-19, as it's called. And so just big picture, just 30,000-foot view.
Yeah.
You've talked about and you've written about, spoken about, dark forces at work, manifesting as medical tyranny. Just big picture, what's going on here with this obvious, global psyop and campaign to make people either sick or dead and submit to state control. These are, I think, more surface manifestations of something else that's a bigger thing at work. What's your sense of it?
Yes, sir. So obviously I'm nothing special, so just take this with a grain of
No,
salt.
just
But
your perspective.
yes, sir. So, I grew up traveling the world
Mm,
and, looking at all religions and that kind of thing before the Lord really brought me into the fold
mm,
of, you know,
yes.
of being born again. Okay. So everything I
Yeah,
see is through the worldview of my faith.
sure.
So first I say, everything in that Bible is true. Everything is
Mm,
true, and all of
mm,
this is there. And the
yeah,
other aspect is, so, because you've given me this opportunity to speak
please.
into the deeper
Absolutely.
aspects of the big picture.
Please.
I don't, I will, we never do this in our presentations because people are only at shop bad. So just so you know, like in our presentations
Mm,
publicly,
yeah,
we end up, we're literally just at shop bad. Here's why. But this
right.
is your audience is very, I think very well versed in every rabbit hole
We've been
probably
talking
this.
about this for a while. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And you went right there. So, here is just my humble
Please.
assessment because, I feel like we were all made for such a time as this.
Mm,
Uh, I call it a five pillared approach that the dark side is using.
mm,
Most people at this point can see the top rung, which is just depopulation. I mean, yes, there's kind of the cult of depopulation, but there's plenty of it goes much deeper than that. And so that would be, I would say, the surface aspect is
mm.
depopulation. But the other, and you can confirm that with writings,
Yeah.
multiple,
Well,
that's like you
yeah.
could have a whole class in just that. Were you gonna ask something, sir? Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, before you go on to number
Yeah.
two, we
Mhm.
were talking, I was talking about this with another fellow huge fan of Laura Demeray, which is Clinton Ohlers, was on the show last week.
I love him.
And he's like, I love Laura. She's done an amazing job. It was great to work with her. Um, but we got into this because he's a theologian. And he's a Christian theologian and historian, and, he's just a brilliant guy. Um, and
I agree.
we talked about this a bit, that there's something going on because we have sub-replacement birth rates in all Western countries,
Mhm.
especially Europe, the land of my ancestors, Italy. Current birth rate is about 1.2 to 1.3. Replacement rate is 2.1. We're about
Yes,
1.6 in the US. So people aren't having babies. And thankfully, the ones who are are a little more sane and a little more typically faith-oriented people, which is great. Um, so that's a thing, and some of it. And I had told the story of a patient who came in and said, "Oh, my daughter was going to have a baby, and I talked her out of it because of climate change." So all this crazy stuff, and then you have this. I don't know what else to call it, but an abortion fetish that it's
Mhm.
and here in Camirado, as I call it, abortions up to and after due date, unlimited, late term, no problem. It's infanticide. So you have this whole part of the part of the society kind of fixated on abortions and the right to kill a baby at due date, full term, which is insane and not found in Europe either. There's none of that. Even where abortion is permitted in Europe, it's typically first trimester. I think the latest is 24 weeks or so in Netherlands. So you have that thing. So people not having babies, plus this glorification of abortion. And then you have these injections, which have killed tens of millions of people, causing infertility and sterility, causing miscarriage. And then this whole mindset that carbon dioxide is going to cook the earth so that all humanity ends in the next 8 years, and that was 12 years ago. This is like a death cult. And so before we go on to number two, like,
Yeah.
what is that? I mean, this seems very dark, that this anti-life, anti-human perspective that human beings are a cancer on the planet and human beings are the problem and we need to eliminate a lot of the humans, Georgia Guidestone, half a billion people, all of this, it just seems very dark. And, any comments on that before you go to your number two of five?
Yes, sir. And all five are connected. However, so the depopulation aspect, I think you
Yeah,
pointed out all the variations of it that you can't,
right.
well, except adding also poison in food and also,
Oh,
geoengineering, right? That's all part
yes,
of it as
yes,
well.
yes, that's right. The
Poisoning, I
slow
mean,
kill. Yeah,
slow kill, yep, and killing. So what you will see regarding that is so the fertility issue is a huge deal.
yeah.
Just for example, with the COVID shot, if pregnant women are given the shot, which they're still pushing in every state,
Mm,
um, as you probably already know this, but essentially 60% of that primordial follicle in that little girl, that little fetus, is already assaulted, and they uh, that my studies have shown that basically they're born with already a 60% disadvantage. That they and then Alden et
wait.
al.
Well, what's the 60%, Laura?
Well, so their little baby ovum, their little ovum, the primordial follicles, they're destroyed 60% while in the womb.
Oh, wait a minute. So
With the jam,
a
with the
baby
jab.
girl in utero,
Yes, sir.
I mean, women are born with a fixed amount of eggs, so to speak. That that's what they get at birth. So you're saying 60% of them are
hmm Yes,
destroyed while
yes,
in
sir.
utero?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's
And
crazy.
and I don't and
Wow, I didn't know
remember,
that.
yeah, and so this is one of the reasons I fight this
Mm.
so hard is that we don't actually have an opportunity after a generation to stop it. So that's why I've been pushing so hard
Um,
against gene
okay.
therapy vaccines
Yeah,
for infectious
yeah,
disease indication, because
right.
people are still at what shot bad. And so with that little, okay, so then just
Mm,
imagine the little ones being born right now if they have not been miscarried, right?
right,
Because this is essentially an abortion pill.
right.
Um, and so then that little one is born and she has finite amount of ovum. She's already been hit 60%. So she's got 40% of what God had created for her.
Right.
And this integrates, right? Not one study knows how far and how long and how badly this integrates and how much, to what
Mm,
degree. And so Alden et al., Buckholtz, uh, McKernan, they have all shown, in multiple labs, have also shown essentially there is capability of integration, cellular genetic
right.
integration.
Genomic integration.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. There are
that's
no
been
studies.
demonstrated.
No. Well, there's studies that show it integrates, but there's no
Right.
studies that show it does not integrate.
Oh,
And
yes, yes,
mhm,
yes. Okay.
yes, sir. And but Alden et al. Showed that it can go into the nucleus of a liver cell. And so, what does that mean? Okay,
Mm.
there's this little girl is 60% already.
Fewer eggs.
It very strongly goes because of the Japanese biodistribution study, shows
Right.
that it very significantly goes to, oh, I hope my internet doesn't cut off the hospital.
You came back.
Okay, great. Oh my gosh, I hope it stays. but I'll just call you right back if I get cut off. Okay.
Sure, sure. No worries.
So we know after that. Oh, and also pretty much every time I talk, there's uh technical difficulty. I will say it is not always the environment I'm in. There's always technical difficulty when we talk, even in the People's House. In the Capitol, we have technical difficulty for just our speakers.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I
wow.
mean, our phones get jammed, like we get cut off, the volume won't
Wow.
work. I mean, it is
Well,
nonstop. Yeah.
the largest audience I spoke to so far
Hmm.
was 800 people at like a TED like talk, and I was talking about statins and cholesterol, the whole cholesterol scam, and all the tech went on the fritz. It was weird. It was the weirdest thing. I don't know why,
Because
but
it's a
I
spiritual battle and statins make people
oh
have
okay.
dementia. Yeah.
Well, that's what I want to
So
get to, Laura.
it's
It
this.
seems like this
Mhm.
is a spiritual battle, and please expand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you hit all the excellent points regarding, climate change used as a vehicle. That's an
Right.
overarching um, vehicle for each of these five pillars.
Mm,
But so I will just spit those out, and then,
please.
if you want to. So essentially, the depopulation. Second is the transfer of wealth. As you can see through COVID, an immense transfer of wealth. Not only are they,
Four
quant-
trillion.
oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. How many trillion did you say?
4 trillion. I mean,
Yeah.
it was hundreds of
Hmm.
thousands of small businesses closed, but
Hmm.
Walmart was open.
Hmm.
The churches were closed, but the liquor
Hmm.
stores were open. And they decimated the small business class,
Yeah.
and that wealth shifted upward to these massive global companies. So that was pretty dark.
Yes. And it goes even down to the smaller level. Every
Hmm.
single injured, precious person in this world will spend the rest of their life all giving all of their wealth back to the people that harmed them. Um,
Oh, okay. Hadn't thought of that.
it is almost everything you have. And
Wow.
um, and let's see here. Something popped up here.
Sure.
Am I still with you?
Yeah, you're
Oh,
fine.
good. Okay. Yes, sir. So not just that transfer of wealth, but the individual injured.
Mm,
See what happens is if they have a spouse, that spouse also like every single thing they have. Some people are selling their houses, that kind of thing. If they don't have a spouse, then they end up living with their parents.
mm,
Every single thing is gone, and especially for the severely injured, the soft injured, they inch along.
mm,
They spend, again, their wealth on staying healthy, and
mm,
they have to generally stay at the place that harmed them because they need that insurance.
mm,
Um, but the productivity and the quality of life has been hit. That's for the soft injured. But the
mm.
other transfer of wealth is, if you look at, for example, the level of debt right now. So transfer of wealth is a really big deal. So that you've seen the scams in Minnesota, California, Ohio,
Totally.
every single state, especially blue state, will have the level of scam and fraud and transfer of wealth that you cannot imagine,
Mm.
including USAID, right? USAID
Oh,
destabilized
yeah,
countries for
totally.
decades, and
That was
promoted
a
the rule.
slush fund
Hmm.
uh,
Yes.
for Democrat campaigns as well.
Hmm. And the dark side, I would say, not just Democrats, they
Mm.
were used as a vehicle. But if you look at, okay, if we're
Oh,
looking at the spiritual battle,
yeah,
um,
please.
the dark side, in a sense, I would say, you can use all of these scams to upset countries, to destabilize really otherwise.
Right.
This is how color change came about. This is Arab Spring. This is all of these things. Um, and so, okay, so the transfer of wealth, even
Yes.
Ukraine, that was a money
Oh,
laundering, is part
massive,
of money laundering,
massive.
right? All
Yes.
of these, and so was COVID. COVID was a huge money laundering scam as well.
Mm.
So then that leads us to the third rung, and that is a control. You will see, especially following Michael Yon's work, that the the and you probably noticed the multiple food, um, the net for food is
Right.
actually the net for everything. Digital
Right.
ID control,
Right.
digital ID control, um, the facial recognition, the AI, and everything. All of that control is sort of that net is starting to close, right? It's not closed
Mm.
completely yet, but digital ID and food insecurity, also energy,
Mm.
right? All of that is being choked.
Mm.
Michael Yon does a great expose on the level of food insecurity that's about to unfold, and so
Oh.
people really have to, grow their victory garden, get ready for self, be making
Mm.
sure that you always have a little something at
Right.
home, that you can
Right.
help your neighbors with. And I want to point out too that these things, these 5 pillars that I mentioned, um, it's not out of fear that I say this.
Yeah.
It's just, God is good and he is sovereign and he wins in the end. We've read
Yes. Oh, we got a freeze.
because we're afraid. We prep because we want to serve him to the best of our ability to the very
Mm.
end.
Yes.
Oh, and
You're back.
hopefully I come back.
You're back.
Um, okay. And so the fourth, so the level of control, look for more and more, food factories and things like that have been, destroyed very aggressively over the last 5 years.
Mm. Mm.
And then you'll see the nitrogen,
Mm.
the just like CO2, the dark side is also using climate change to hit the level of nitrogen for
Mm.
the entire world. If you look up the nitrogen
Oh,
issues,
okay.
major nitrogen plants have
Did
closed.
not know
Things,
that.
yeah, that's an inflection point for the food security. And then
Mm.
the spraying kills the bees, things like that, the pollinators, right?
Mm.
So my husband is a beekeeper, and
Wow.
so just we're into bees. But
Yeah.
so then the fourth would be transhumanism. So I've read these books my whole life. As you know, I wanted to work for the World Health Organization, so I
Yeah.
thought, oh, I'll learn all these languages and read, their writings and stuff. Well,
Right.
ultimately, actually, they love the thought of transhumanism. The idea is to
Huh.
live forever without God. We're going to live forever because
Oh.
when we put our faith in the Lord, it doesn't matter if I died right now. I
Right.
will live forever and I will have great
Mm.
purpose because of him. I am
Right.
worthy because of him. All of it's because of him, not me. They have the opposite view. You think, why would they ever want to, let all this nanotechnology get in themselves? Well, it's because that is their plan. They
Mm.
want to live forever without the loving God,
Mm.
um, without God. They want to live forever because of on their own terms,
Mm.
or Satan.
Mm.
There's still that pride of Satan. That why would he even try? Why would Satan can read the Bible too? Why would he even try? Because of the pride that made him fall in the first
Mm.
place. He
Mm.
thinks he's going to win still, and
Mm.
so do they. So do the, I would say, like the people that have fallen into the dark side.
Mm.
So transhumanism, I mean, read their books. They're like, I can't wait to be a cyborg. And you'll notice,
Mm.
um, like, oh,
Ray
there's,
Kurzweil at Google and
go ahead. Oh, say that again, sir.
Ray Kurzweil at Google. He's
Yes,
the big singularity guy, merging of
Singularity. I have
people
his
and
book.
machine.
Yeah,
Yes.
he has a
Yeah.
couple of books, but
Right.
I have Singularity at home.
Mm.
And so, yes, it's a big deal to them to be transhuman and have a human
Mm.
2.0. You can follow Noah Yuval Harari.
Right.
He says it out loud, and so
Yep.
does Klaus Schwab and things like that. They do believe the lie that they can live forever
Mm.
without God. They
Mm.
think that they can do it in other ways,
Mm.
multiple. I mean, that gets pretty deep. That you'll notice you can uh, look up things like Sabrina Wallace, and she's a unique person, but she really does a good job and she swears a lot and everything, but
Yeah.
she does a great job of actually pulling. Her life is pretty much pulling together the data. Also, Hope Girl, Hope and Tavon from Fix the World. She does a
Mm.
great job of pulling together
Mm.
the synbio future, which is
Okay.
synthetic bio, transhumanism,
Huh.
and this is so factual, so easily um, look. I would say the information is prolific. And
Hmm.
so it's not just this concept on cartoons or movies, but anyway, it's a rich subject, and that
Hmm.
is part of number four. And then number five is kind of what you mentioned, this the spiritual battle. It's um it's the anti-God agenda. My Hindu friends mentioned, I don't, I don't, it's a clown world and all that, but I can always tell what the dark side's going to do by looking at your Bible. It's always, you can read the Bible and tell
Wow.
what they're going to do. Like, what are they up to? Let's look.
Wow.
It's an anti-God agenda, exactly. So that comes back to the number one,
Hmm.
the fertility. God loves babies,
Yeah.
children. Be fruitful and multiply. So what is the dark side's goal? To make sure you are not fruitful and that you do not multiply, and
Huh.
then and so the dark side, even if you look in the historical, through Mesopotamia, Samaria,
Right.
the various gods, right? They demanded blood, Moloch, things like that. None of that has
Yes.
stopped. Those entities are still around demanding blood sacrifice, and that is the
Hmm.
babies. They did it then,
Hmm.
and they're doing it now. It is a blood sacrifice.
Wow.
It is, and then, witches and warlocks and Satanists, for
Hmm.
example, they um they gain power the most innocent that they sacrifice. And so that is
Hmm.
why you're seeing all this Epstein darkness. And
Right.
I mean, it is our only hope is
Could you
God.
repeat that, Laura, that last
Yeah.
bit? You froze.
Yes, sir. Let's see if it comes back on. I would say the battle we are in is
Yes.
spiritual. Yes, it's physical, and it is deep, dark,
Right.
and endlessly hopeless if you do not have a loving God, but God. So
Oh,
I'm saying I
okay.
know what we're up against.
Hmm.
It is so ugly, blood and guts,
Hmm.
but um and it's spiritual and it's physical, but
Hmm.
the spiritual is way, way bigger,
Hmm.
more frightening in a sense.
Hmm.
But you cannot approach it with fear because the
Right.
only answer is God. And I don't even hold back with that. Like, if
Yeah.
there was not God, if God
Yeah.
was not good and his word was not absolute and true, um what's the point?
Yeah. There'd be no hope.
No, but there is hope,
Mm.
and he
Yes.
wins. So
That's right. Yeah, we said that here many times. God wins, and so I said last week on the show, there's no such thing as a faithless person, but people have their faith in darkness more than in light or in God, and that you know just weakens a person and makes them so susceptible when if the highest power in your life is the state, right? Whether it's your local health department telling you to stay in your house or wear a mask or something like that, or the state that's going to take care of you and in exchange for your freedom. If that's the highest power in a person's life, that's not a good ending to that story.
I agree. I agree. If the two things that people are never supposed to talk about, those are my favorite subjects. So the theological aspect, I
Yes,
love, I love meeting people of all religions because, I love Christian apologetics and sharing, why Jesus and not Muhammad,
right.
why the God of the Bible and not Buddha, and
Mm,
although I love, I mean, first of all, any faith is helpful,
sure.
if it's I think kind of referring back to Plato and Aristotle and Socrates. I mean,
Right.
virtue and goodness is been contemplated
Yes.
for since the beginning of man, but
Yeah.
or at least since the beginning of Socrates. but
Yes.
um, but then Saint Augustine brought in that and even Cicero, because I'm
Mm,
studying him right now in my master's class.
mm,
He brought in that there's something higher, that it's, and then Augustine brought in, he kind of tied it together that, okay, there's all of this suggestion of of what is virtuous. The city needs goodness, but then Augustine mentioned, and I think he kind of nails it, that there isn't goodness without something that's a higher power. Because in the
Mm,
end, say like the Satanic Creed or the Witchcraft Creed is,
mm.
uh, do as ye will, but harm none. But isn't that subjective? I mean, you
Yes.
know, what is
Right.
what to them, sacrificing a baby, not, I'm not saying witches all do this, but in the
Sure.
Satanic Church, sacrificing a baby is good to them. So,
Mm.
so you have to kind of boil it down. What is good? What is bad? And I will say there's absolute truth, and there is a
Yes.
God in heaven, and
Yes.
he there is truth. It is not
Right.
relative.
Right.
Um,
Well, that's been a huge feature of a whole segment of society, this moral relativism, that there's my truth and what I want to do and what I think is good. And, it's pretty sketch because, this is based on opinion then. And, the radical Muslim who blows himself up to, kill a bunch of people
mhm,
is awesome, right? If oh, I'm doing a good thing. I'm taking and my faith is taking over England, right?
mhm,
And eventually every country on earth is our goal, and we're the good guys because we're bringing the entire world under Allah and Islam.
mhm,
And our faith commands that we convert or kill anyone who's not part of our faith. So they're the good guys as far as they're concerned. They are following their idea of what is good. But if there's no absolute truth, right? And just like, what gender am I today? Let me see how I feel.
mhm.
That pop singer said, well, some days I feel I'm a male, and some days I feel like I'm a it's like entirely subjective.
Yeah.
But where there's no ground to stand on that is rooted in truth,
Mhm, mhm,
that's huge. And I also want to underline something you said, Laura, about the most oft repeated phrase in the Bible is some version of "fear not."
mhm.
That if one's faith is in the divine, in God, then there's nothing in the world, in the outer world, that can shake one from that, because that's the source of the courage is not uh, summoning courage, but it's faith in something higher than the world, which has a lot of darkness in it. But the power that we came to represent, as far as I'm concerned, and to serve and to reveal, is so much greater than the Gates Foundation or the WEF or the trans cult or the vaccine cult or whatever.
Yeah. Mhm.
At least my perspective is I'm serving something larger than all of that, that is far more powerful in its transformative ability than any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned, for example, the, in a lot of ways, it's a taboo subject of, you mentioned, Islam. And, I told you I used to live in the Middle East.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. What's your take?
mhm. Yes, sir. So kind of what you're seeing on the world stage, it is, um, there's kind of a so the essentially the Iranian issue is
Yeah,
clearly on the world stage right now,
right.
and what you're seeing there is the Shiite, I would say, terror culture. It's a death cult in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
That is very, very different actually than the, I would say, like the Sunni world, for
Right,
example.
right.
So what you're going to see is the Gulf states essentially all forming and actually supporting Israel,
Yes, that's
and
happening.
America.
That's
Because
happening.
Persians, oh, go ahead. Sorry, sir. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
UAE is like pissed. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and these are not, insignificant entities, Saudi Arabia. I mean, these are, so anyway, please continue.
Yes,
But
sir.
I think this seems to be happening.
Yes, sir. So yes, what you're going to see is, and in fact, I think Saudi Arabia just officially mentioned that they're in the war now.
Mm.
But what's happening is, you have Sunni and Shia, and the
Right.
Shia, um, see the death cult of, I'd say, the IRGC and the Basij,
Right.
who are their policemen that do the torturing, and plus the IRGC, they're in John 16:2, it
Okay.
talked about how they will kill, they will basically be murdering, uh, in the name of their God, in the name of God,
Mm.
because they did not know the Father and they did not know me. And this was Jesus saying that, right?
Oh.
And that's what's happening here. And also, because they're Shia, they believe that even if they cause world destruction in the end, this is why it's either they win or the Gulf states and America and Israel win. Because in the end,
Mm.
they do actually, their whole personal goal is to cause such destruction that they bring in their Mahdi, which is their uh, Messiah, right? And they, if
Mm.
they cause world destruction, they will, in their minds, bring in the Mahdi. But the other thing is, the other Arab states are not in the same mindset like that. These guys, nobody is Muslim enough for them. In
Mm.
IRGC and the Islamic regime, and remember, their tentacles run to Yemen, the Houthis. It
Right.
runs into
Lebanon.
Lebanon,
Yep.
Gaza.
Right.
It runs into
Hamas.
yeah, Hamas and Gaza. It is also Syria.
Right.
So they have like an octopus,
Right.
and that death cult. And I'm saying, like, because I have family in Persia,
Mm.
and I have Persian family, and I'm
Mm.
telling you that, if you see somebody actually on a newscast from Iran, they are the IRGC, and they're lying to you.
Mm.
They have slaughtered 95,000,
Mm.
uh, mostly young people. Okay, these
Mm.
are like kids, people under 40. I'm in my 50s now, and these are, most people are under 40, and
Mm.
they were, I mean, these people, precious people, nurses, doctors, kids,
Mm.
teenagers, especially, they love killing athletes,
Mm.
because an athlete is hope, and
Mm.
and they are literally trying to crush every semblance of hope in these
Mm.
people. And I'm not, and they don't just normally kill. I mean, this is, if demons could put on human skin and then go do what demons like to do,
Mm.
that is what they're doing to these kids. And I
Mm.
mean, shooting them in the eyes, the face, and then
Mm.
going into the homes and forcing them to strip to see if they got hurt during the protest.
Mm.
And then they know, because they, some of them got buckshot and they can
Mm.
hide that. Well, they strip them and make them see if they have
Mm.
buckshot, and they drag these kids
Mm.
to prison where they're gang raped, male and female, and their
Mm.
fingernails will pulled out. They're hurt so bad
Mm.
that they either are dead, and the few nurses that lived through it because they helped the protesters,
Mm.
there's a couple of nurses that were so hurt that they have colostomies now.
Mm.
And I'm just kind of getting reports not only from family, but from, like, there's a couple that I trust on X that have
Mm.
insight on the inside in my own family. And so, over 350,000 have been injured. Um,
Mm.
the Imagine, the women, the young girls are so injured, raped, and hurt. They're
Mm.
dead. They pull out the uteruses. I don't know if they're alive or dead. And then
Mm.
they force the family to sign an agreement that says they were hurt by the protesters and their IRGC supporters,
Mm.
and then charge them for the bullets that actually ended up killing them in the end.
Mm.
So, uh,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, it's like the
That's pretty
worst.
dark.
It's so dark, sir. And every single Persian, including family,
Yeah.
all of them are saying, please keep the bombs coming.
Right.
We're all dead otherwise, and they're not, they're actually just, and so I have it firsthand too. They use children for human shields. They
Mm.
force those kids to go to school, or those parents will be killed,
Wow.
or
Well,
imprisoned,
Hamas
which
has
is
been doing
worse.
that for a while.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the same
Mm.
Shia mindset, right?
Right.
They're run by IRGC.
Right.
No, you would not find the same savagery in the Sunni populations, for example.
Right.
Now granted, you know, I grew up in, like I was in Saudi for a few years. Believe
Mm,
me, I was a fighting kid. Let me tell you, I
yep.
was young, 11 to 14.
Mm,
And I was accosted every day by guys there. So I'm just
mm.
saying,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I felt like a spider monkey on crack. Let me tell you.
Wow.
So,
So Laura, what's the current status of the
mhm,
rebellion, right? So you have the people rising up, and
mhm.
you hear all these conflicting reports.
Yes, sir.
They're going to topple the leadership. The Shah's son's going to come in, or they've been decimated. The RGC is fully in control,
Mhm.
quelling all rebellion. Like what's going on the ground there?
What I can tell from, family and then also the trusted sources that I kind of watch on the internet, um, it, it just like they did right at the beginning of the protests and the crackdown, they brought in about 5,000 troops from Iraq and Afghanistan.
Hmm.
These are their proxies, right? That they're funding, like all the bad guys in the tentacles are
Hmm.
coming in. Many,
Oh,
I won't say all, because
right,
there's
right.
bombings going on also between Israel and America
Sure.
and a couple of the other, like Lebanon
Right.
and whatnot. And so all the in Iran, again, if they in the world, good for they that's good for them because they
Okay.
believe they bring in their Mahdi. So they have nothing to lose except just like be crazy until the end. Because so what is happening now is troops from Iraq, the dark side ones, the ones that are
Right.
IRGC acolytes,
Right.
they're coming in to crush the people. Now
Oh,
the people don't have guns, right? They
right.
take your guns. This is what happens to you.
Right.
And UK is Iran in 5 to 10 years. If they do not
Right.
get their act together now,
Fast.
they are
Fast.
Iran in
Yeah,
5 years, maybe
for
10 if
sure.
they're
Yep.
lucky.
Yep. I think it's closer
S-
to 5. Yeah.
And New York is where the UK was, and the UK is where
Right.
Iran was, right? And it's
Right.
uh, this I would say communist,
For
Islamic commune
sure.
Nazi access. And
Right.
people in UAE are not like this. This is the
No.
Sunnis are not. Yeah, there's a certain religion that and I would love dialogue with them to say hey, why Jesus and not Muhammad. But I would say that the Shiites, I mean, have been given over, that IRGC and their acolytes have truly been given over to their bloodlust.
Mm.
And at this point, it's like they're lost in where you can do so many bad things to little ones,
Right.
and they think they're into child marriage and child
Right.
rape. It's a super pedo,
Well, that was
very.
Muhammad. Yep.
Yes, he did. He married Aisha at 6 and
Yep.
consummated that marriage at 9. And
At
so,
9. Yeah.
yeah, and that's I would say the Islamic regime, in the end, people who you would say, like, because I have a lot of Muslim friends as well, but
Sure.
I'll say nobody's Muslim enough for those guys. Like, they will kill them all.
Oh,
They're just as bad
okay.
as me as a Christian. Like,
Right.
nobody's Muslim enough for them.
Right.
You know, so anyway, there's so you're going to see Iran hitting their desalination plants in Kuwait and things like that.
Huh.
They're going to hit the water and they're going to try to hit the power. The IRGC is. So, and then
Wow.
EUA and I would not doubt, Beirut, Saudi,
Hmm.
they're all gonna hit back. I mean, they are hitting back. So
Right.
yeah.
So we're predicting. Okay. So what? Okay. So two predictions. One is that the Sunni Muslim states will unite with Israel and the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. against
100%.
the Shia terrorists, the bad
Yes.
guys.
They want partnership with America. They don't want this death. They are
Right.
not the death cult
Right.
that the Islamic, nobody likes them. They're like the mean, bully, murderous,
Right.
pedo rapist on that you don't want to send your kids over to visit,
Yep.
that
Yep.
in the Islamic world. So
Right.
it's so much, and I would say yeah,
So
the
your
Gulf
prediction.
states are going to
So
work
because
with
my
Israel and America.
right. That's
Mhm.
awesome. So what's your prediction? Because the people are, I think, are they still, protesting, rising up? trying to take the government back from the bad guys? Like, what's your prediction for how this is going to go?
Yeah, what I can tell so far is that they're hunkering down right now and they're protesting from their buildings because, and also, mind you, the besieged are still shooting them. They're shooting people with lasers on their balconies, even. That's how crazy
Hmm.
the IRGC is. They're literally going like, who's screaming Raza Pahlavi? Who's screaming Reza Shah?
Yeah.
They're shooting them with a laser on the balcony. But
Wow.
will they rise? You bet they will. Yes, they're kind of like Raza Pahlavi is getting when they can
Right.
information, and there's been a blackout, obviously,
Yep.
and occasionally there's a connectivity. Occasionally somebody can do Starlink every once in a while, but
Yeah.
the bad guys actually drive around and
Hmm.
they can tell who's got Wi-Fi, and
Hmm.
if somebody is getting a signal from a house, they'll go kill them. So you
Hmm.
like it is so
Wow.
people cannot imagine how horrendous that is, but the people are hunkering down and they're screaming from their rooftops in the city of
Yeah.
Tehran. And I will say, I'm sure some people, and I won't say who, but I mean, they're hiding their kids if they can,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they use them as human shields. The
Right.
armories have moved into not only the mosques, but the schools. The armories are in the
Yeah.
schools.
So,
Mhm.
so what's your prediction for how this goes, Laura? Just your opinion.
Oh gosh. Okay. As a nurse from the middle of nowhere who has no clout whatsoever,
No, just your
um,
opinion. I mean,
um,
you lived there for a while and you have friends
yeah,
and family there, and just your take.
yeah. Well, I lived in the Middle East, but I haven't lived
Right.
in
Right.
Persia.
Right. Right.
So,
Right. Right.
but yeah, um, this is their one chance.
Hmm.
If they don't win now, then I don't, I think this is their one chance. This is the
Yeah.
biggest
Yep.
revolution they've ever had since
Right.
47 years
79. Yeah.
ago.
Yep.
Um, and and I think that Iran will have no restraint if
Hmm.
they don't if the good guys don't win. um,
Hmm.
Iran will have no restraint in the future. They
Hmm.
have been hurt really hard.
Yep.
They're a mess. They really are, and this is
Right.
their weakest that they have been probably in 47 years.
Right.
um, they have to bring in these people, these murderers from Iraq for a reason,
Right.
because they're
Right.
losing control.
Right.
And so they have a lot of money. uh,
Yep. Well,
they've been stealing from the
thanks to Obama and China.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Uh, and so they can pay these guys, and they've been building underground bunkers for a long time. All of their money has gone into warfare, and by the way, most people don't realize, but uh, they have missiles that can shoot 4,000 kilometers.
Right. I
So
saw that.
yeah, so you
Yeah.
think,
That's a lot of Europe.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So,
So
but
I think they'll win, and I think they have an amazing transitional team. Raza Pahlavi will do a very good job, and
yep.
it would change the dynamic of the Middle East
Oh, the whole world.
for a long, yeah, the
Yeah.
entire world. I mean, these guys have been the source of death
Right.
for the last almost 50 years. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah, it would change the dynamic and the partnerships. I mean, you
Well,
know.
yeah, because you have this
Mhm,
whole like peaceful, cooperative
mhm,
Muslim world, right? Which isn't part of this dark thing at all. That is uniting, which is amazing.
yeah. Yeah, and they do not actually hate Israel. I mean, not the
Right.
way that and they don't hate America either.
Right.
The way Persians actually love, okay, the Persians of Iran love everybody. Like they
Yeah.
love America, they love Israel,
Right.
they love the other Arab nations. They
Right.
have no problem with
Right.
anyone. And I
Right.
mean, they're like the most wonderful, you want that culture in charge,
Oh
for
yeah, they're
goodness sake.
wonderful
And
folks. I've met many. Yeah, they're
yeah,
wonderful. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
thank you for
So
that
it's peace. Yeah, for a
perspective.
while anyway. I
Yeah, but it
mean,
seems kind of biblical
mhm,
what's happening over there. It's like
mhm,
shades of Revelation, with
mhm.
this kind of conflict. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I've been
yeah.
Ezekiel 37 and the Ezekiel 37 and 38 as well. That's
Okay.
a kind of a big war that, against Israel or the multiple Arab states. And I don't know if this is that, obviously I'm not a
Right.
Bible scholar,
Sure, sure.
but I've been really digging into that, and seeing, if this is in a sense a way that I didn't see it coming in a sense. So I
Mm,
don't know, but it's exciting times, right? Like, and
mm.
everything in the
Yep,
Bible is real and comes true. So,
yep,
if it's not now, it shall be in the future. But
right.
um, yeah, but we definitely were not born in boring times where we, sir.
Yes, indeed. Wow. Well, thank you for that little detour. Do you have a little more time? I had a couple of things I would love your comments on.
Oh,
Um,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great. Well, thank you. So, what's the latest on blood donations in Idaho?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ohlers may have told you that about 17 states are working on legislation to
Yes.
really solidify and codify the right to have direct donor blood and
Mm,
autologous blood.
right.
But the direct donor one is one in which, say, you have a non-emergent surgery, you're
Right.
you're going to need, or you
Right.
could need, many pints of blood.
Yep.
Well, um, if you call, say, like, for example, a Red Cross National Center, you hear your state, oh, it's no problem. You just do this and this, it's not a problem. But in reality, for years now, we have tried to get direct donor blood with people who needed it, especially post COVID, right? This is
Right.
very similar to the 1980s issue when there was AIDS or HIV
Right.
in the blood supply. And you know, it was kind of hidden for a little while. Well, I do truly believe that, and because I work with morticians and I'm in the, freedom fight world,
Yeah.
friends with Clinton. I know for a fact that there can be issues with,
Mm,
let's say, amyloidosis, the clotting,
mm,
the white
right.
fibrous cloth, or the lipid nanoparticles,
Right.
or ribosomal frame shifting, right? I mean, we have no idea what is happening. We just
Mhm.
know that this has been found in blood. And so wouldn't you like the right to just pick maybe blood from your church,
Right.
blood from people in your community, like that are part of the Safe Blood organization, or of
Yes.
the Blessed by His Blood, which is Liz James, and there's some
Hmm.
others too. And this has already been done. There's nothing different. It's just allowing you personally as an individual to have that basic right that federally you're supposed to already.
Hmm.
This is just codifying that and actually giving that individual citizen a little more, I guess, to have the state law behind them as well, saying,
Yes.
I want direct donor blood. I'm having a surgery in a couple of weeks. You can get your doctor's order and get your community to give you the blood, and they just store it, and just like they do everybody else, and but
Right.
it's just one person in particular's blood, as
Yes.
opposed to the pool that you get, say, from the large Red Cross blood supply. And
Hmm.
and we won.
So,
We won.
so
Representative.
you were
Mhm.
successful in that.
I never take credit, for anything, but
I mean, you
I
meaning
was a part
your
of it.
group.
Yeah, I was a part of it. Rep Chris Bruce, in Idaho,
Yeah.
championed that, and I'm sorry, Senator Tammy Nichols championed it on the
Hmm.
Senate side, and Liz James and Sierra Ham and Clinton Ohlers were at every testimony, and they
Hmm.
helped educate so well, and just were, I mean, it wouldn't have happened without basically all of them. And I was
Right.
just kind of like, I'm a science cat herder, I guess is what they call me. I kind of pull everybody together and
Yes. Yes.
get them there. So,
Right.
and help educate.
Wow.
So
Well,
yeah, and
well
we
done.
won.
So that's the first time in the country. And what does the
Sure.
law say now that it's official?
Well, essentially that, it sort of, it it copies essentially the federal law, and it allows Idahoans, and it's codified now, to be able to pick their direct donor blood. And the
Hmm.
interesting thing is, if anybody works on this in their state, just like when because I'm in the gene therapy mRNA, or I would
Yes.
say gene therapy vaccine
Right.
moratorium fight. That's my baby. That's
Hmm.
I don't know. Right now, it seems like purpose for living is to stop that.
Mm,
But just like in that fight, the same thing in the direct donor blood fight. Number one,
mm,
this has already been done. Like One Blood down in Florida and many other states do this all the time. They work with
mm.
everybody. They're fantastic. It's not like you're, making a new paradigm for blood. This is already
Right.
being done. Like,
Right.
just let us do it because the law says it. And
Yes.
and then um so just like that, when the other side comes to argue, and it is the same, it's the
Hmm.
exact argument in every state,
Hmm.
the exact form letters. And there's, like 5 points that they make that are all truly debunked, and you can debunk them.
Sounds like a No Kings rally with the preformed signage
Yes, it is
and the
exactly that.
talking
Only
points. Yep.
Yeah, only they have billions, and we're, broke
Yep.
Idahoans that just,
Right.
they're like, we show
Right.
up.
Right.
But yeah, except for they have billions. And then in the
Yeah.
moratorium world, it's more like hundreds of billions that are
Mm,
against me on that. Like,
mm,
I'm just at this point, I'm like, the only
mm,
reason I'm alive is Jesus, thank you, God.
mm.
It's like I show up. So same thing there. They have only 5 points that they give I mean, literally when we're fighting this moratorium, because I'm
Yeah.
working hard for, gene therapy vaccine moratorium,
Right.
um, it is still 2021 talking points these multi-billion dollar companies show up
Wow.
with.
Wow.
It's the same thing.
So is this the, I'm just guessing here, is this the um, Doug Cameron Act?
Um, okay, this was 2025. Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
tried this last year.
Oh, okay.
We had 10 years, and then we did it again this year because they gave us, it's very hard. We've tried for actually 4 years now. First, we tried animals and humans. I learned a lot. We lost on that.
Yep.
Then I tried vaccine mandate. I lost. But then
Mm,
other people with more resources did the vaccine mandate the next year, and it is a national movement now. So
mm,
I give all the credit to the heavy lifters that came after me on that, because
right.
I got crushed when I did it, but it was still all part of this journey, and it all helps other people win, in a sense. Like, it kind of, mm, I guess I died on the sword, but
Yeah.
really great groups in Idaho just did amazing, and now it's a national movement. Is the no mandate
Oh,
movement?
wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, and then we tried last year that 1036 that you just showed,
Right.
and they said, oh, no, we can't do 10 years, do two. So we come
Oh,
back with two. And
no.
they said, oh, we can't do everybody, just do kids. So we come back with kids and just 2 years.
Mm,
And
mm,
then we still got, we won in the Senate. We actually had a real hearing. And we only, literally a fourth of my amazing friends and colleagues, that, I mean, lesser magistrates, health directors, doctors, scientists,
mm,
only a portion of them got to give their testimony, and we were kind of cut off. But
mm.
and there was technical difficulty as usual. There's always technical difficulty when we discuss
Yes.
this subject.
Right.
Even in the people's house, even in the governor's meeting, they were like, we don't know why we have so much technical difficulty, and we
Oh,
live with this. we
okay.
we live with this. Literally 2 days before our governor meeting, in explaining this bill to them,
Right.
um, because I didn't want them to veto, and thank God they, took the time to hear.
Right.
Um, well, when even then in the governor's meeting, there was technical difficulty. Yeah,
Mm.
and this was this year. This is the one we
So
had this
this
year.
is the new one, 1346.
Yes, sir. And even before, 2 days before that governor's meeting, the senator and I, who is sponsoring this, we could not even text each other. We had to go to WhatsApp.
Wow.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
Wow.
You wouldn't believe the craziness. When I was in Washington State, and
Oh,
we did a presentation, um, we were checking our car for bombs on that one, but because
wow.
that one was crazy. I mean, they cut out my phone. I had to get on like the county. We were in a county building,
Oh,
and they cut out my phone. So then I was on the Wi-Fi. They cut
mm,
out all my speakers. They cut out the Children's Health Defense camera guy. They
mm.
cut out the email of the and I don't know who they is. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know,
Somebody.
but somebody that's way more techie than me. And yes, sir. And so then, so I literally had to have like, Dr. McCullough, Brianne Dressen, um, or Jancy Lindsay, Dr. Lindsay, all give like, this is what I end up having to do a lot, even in Idaho people's house. I just get that little microphone. It's like
Hmm.
to my iPhone, and
Hmm.
they just give a verbal testimony, and we won. That was the first.
Wow.
Yes, sir. The county
Wow.
vote made a resolution against the entire technology in
And
public.
where was that? That was a county or was that the state?
Yes, sir. We have had that particular one was Franklin County in
Right?
Washington State. That's the only one in Washington State because that's pretty dark territory over there.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was crazy. It was such a great victory. And Clint Didier, if you ever want him as a guest, he is such a warrior. He's ex Green Bay Packer. He's now a
Wow.
commissioner and a farmer. And
Wow. Yeah, if
he
you
ain't
could
afraid
connect
of.
us, that'd be great.
Oh, I'd love to. He is
Please do.
he is he is so he's a superhero. He just jazzes you up. And even the commissioner's phones were all broken prior to that hearing. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, you just keep on rolling, like I got an iPhone 8. I'm ready to go.
Hmm.
And so then in Idaho, we've had four county boards vote fully
Okay.
against fully against
Wow.
it and sign resolutions. We've had the Southwest District Health, which is 6 counties, be the
Hmm.
first in the entire nation to defund the jab in its promotion.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Laura,
Mhm.
well, first of all, this is the awesome Nick Hulsher. Love to have him on the show. I don't know if you have a connection there, but
Yes, sir.
so
He's a good friend. Yes, sir.
oh, that's
We'll do
great. Yeah,
that.
if you could connect us, I'd appreciate it. So what's the deal now
Mhm.
with what's the current status of
Mhm.
1346, which is a state thing in Idaho?
Yes, sir. So we won in the Senate, and
Hmm.
they sent us for new language. They wanted us to reduce a few things like the definition of gene therapy, and they
Okay.
wanted us to reduce instead of all gene therapy vaccine for infectious disease indication, they
Right.
wanted us to narrow it to COVID. So we
Huh.
did. Yeah, but we were just stuck in the 14th. In other words, it was so much new language. They it was a new bill. And so
Oh.
and believe me, I mean, I would drive every week to the Capitol. I mean, I tried everything. And then we had a wonderful representative on the House side who was trying to just print the whole new bill. We got a new RS and we were trying to just make it into a bill. We have a new
Hmm.
RS, a new bill. It doesn't have a number, it's just an RS.
Hmm.
And what that means is they have to read it and then it becomes a bill and then you have to schedule it for a
Hmm.
hearing, right?
Hmm.
And he was trying so hard, but
Hmm.
session ends either tomorrow or Wednesday. So
Oh, okay.
we just ran out of time like to make
Yep.
it happen. But we had really great legislators that were trying. And
That's great.
uh yeah, and Doug and I go, I go every week to the Capitol, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, yeah, 2.5 hour drive. And I just
Hmm.
country mouse going to the big city. And I just, put on my prettiest church clothes and go in
Yeah.
and try to win the hearts.
Right. So is the next step kind of door to door, county to county,
Uh,
until the next session?
yes, sir. We have been doing that for many years now. And also, doing awareness events and things like that. Yeah, Doug and I go county to county. We have, and
Hmm.
and every county, even if they don't vote for us, they all believe that the legislators can. And this is kind of the doctrine of the lesser magistrates. And
Yeah, if you
but
could explain that,
mhm,
that would be great because I know that you
yeah,
used that extensively during the scamdemic.
yes, sir. It's how the Southwest District Health became the first health district in the world to vote against the jab.
Hmm.
Basically,
Wait,
we
which one?
started. Southwest District Health in Idaho. That's
Oh.
my health district. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Our
Wow.
science team and an amazing Dr. Tribble on the board
Hmm.
made it possible for us to get in there. And it really helps if there's a board member that is essentially helping facilitate getting you to give a presentation. And anyone can do this. Anyone can go into county their county or their health districts. Not all states have a health district,
Hmm.
um, but we just signed up for the county. You call and you say hi. You ask the clerk and be nice to those clerks because they
Yes.
run that county.
Yes.
Don't be thinking that she's just a secretary because she's been
Hmm.
there. She'll be there whenever the commissioners are gone. The county clerk is still there. So same thing with your legislators. You make sure that treat those aides with respect because
Hmm.
they are the neck that turns the head. And
Hmm.
so, like, I'm just as happy to meet talk with an aide for a legislator as I am with the legislator because
Hmm.
they help make the decision. So, and just be respectful and, you just show up. And we started with I called, Dr. Thorpe and Dr. McCullough, uh, at the time, like I'll say the people on my team are Dr. Parks, sometimes Dr. Lindsay, um, uh, Dr. Milhone, Dr. Biss, um, Nick Holcher, Brian Cole, Dr. Cole.
Hmm.
I have, Doug Cameron. I have, gosh, I know I'm forgetting a bunch of my crew.
Sure. Sure.
But they show up and we just, we ask for like 45 minutes and each one will give 5 minutes. A lot of times like sometimes Brianne or Joel Walskag from React 19 have showed up. And I'm telling you, we open up a can of truth in the little counties
Hmm.
and it is awesome. And
Wow.
yeah. And then, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And the
Hmm.
problem was we were all censored, right? So how do we get the information out there?
Oh,
You show
okay.
up in your lesser magistrate's realm and it is
Right.
public record. It is recorded forever. And the people that never would look at the alternative rabbit holes that we all look at, I'm sure your audience is very efficient at knowing where to go find some more information,
Yes. Yes.
but the general public doesn't always do that or know that. They're listening to CNN or Fox News, right? And that's just
Hmm.
this little top layer that isn't always the full truth, nothing but the truth.
Right.
And
Right.
so then we go into the counties and anyone can do that. Anyone can do
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. So this doctrine of lesser
Oh, yes,
magistrate
sir. I got sidetracked.
this goes back to like to the 1500s or something like that.
And yeah, I'll say even thousands of years. Think
Thousands
about
of years.
Daniel. Think about Daniel contending.
Oh yeah, right, right.
Yep, Daniel contending. Petronius in 39 AD contended for the
Wow.
Jewish people. They didn't want Caligula's image in the Holy Temple, and
So,
Petronius stood between the people and Caligula
hmm,
and said, we can't do this. And of course,
hmm,
luckily Caligula died before he killed Petronius. But
right.
um,
So
it
just for someone who's never heard of the doctrine of lesser magistrates, which I only honestly learned about just getting ready for today's show.
oh, cool.
Never really heard of it before. So for someone who knows absolutely nothing, what are we talking about? What is this thing?
Yes, sir. Essentially, the doctrine of the lesser magistrates has historical and biblical precedents since the beginning of civilization,
Hmm,
essentially. And it is where okay, the elected or appointed individuals, even preachers, okay, that
right,
counts because you are a magistrate as a preacher.
right.
Um, County commissioners, and it can even go down even to doctors.
Hmm,
Anyone in general, though, it's the sheriffs also, but
oh,
it's elected or appointed individuals or people of authority in a community.
okay.
And so what happens when the higher levels of government have failed us? And that is my
Hmm,
argument for a moratorium is that okay, not only was it a government product, we know this because, essentially um, through the people we mentioned, David Martin, Sasha Latikova,
right.
Karen Kingston, but also cases like Brooke Jackson's case and Dr. Kirk Moore's case, which I can mention to
Hmm,
you. But
Hmm.
so who showed up to his case to put him in jail for 35 years was BARDA. That was the Department of Defense, essentially.
Hmm.
They put him in, they wanted to put him in jail for 35 years for destroying their product, right?
Hmm.
So they own it. So therefore, this is a government product, and the higher levels of government have failed. Even at the CDC and the FDA, they failed
Right.
to do their due diligence to protect people from what you could call a biothreat or even just a poison or a misbranded, mislabeled, contaminated product. And three
Right.
states are calling it a bioweapon. And Dr. Francis Boyle calls it a
Mm.
bioweapon, rightly
Hmm.
so, right? So who is, if not me, then who? If not you, then who? If not that lesser magistrate, then who?
Hmm.
So they have every right and authority and duty to hold the line between the citizens and the higher levels of government if
Hmm.
evil policy, products, laws have been put in
Hmm.
place, and everybody in between has failed these people. So, like the nobles
Oh,
standing before King John, right?
right.
Kind of brought the Magna Carta. Well,
Hmm.
who holds the line? I mean, do we
Hmm.
all? I mean, is there no need for anybody in the middle? Do we all just follow what the
Hmm.
World Health Organization wants to do? So if we
Right.
do not have layers of responsibility and authority before God to defend those rights given to us by God, then um, you know, what are we? I mean, we're
Right.
in deep crap.
Right.
We're in big trouble if somebody
Right.
doesn't stand up. So, but so biblically and historically, um, county commissioners, sheriffs, state legislators, governors have every right and authority to say no. And
Hmm.
like and then the moratorium issue or the gene therapy jab, every state has the right to say, not in our state. Go
Hmm.
get your safety standards in order. You're welcome
Right.
to approach us again and show us long term studies. But right
Yep.
now, it's killing our citizens. So we're
Right.
just going to tell you no and send it back. And
Huh.
yeah,
Wow. So this has practical application, obviously, with all things COVID and continuing with the injections.
yes, because there'll be more.
Right.
If the states don't hold the line now, there will be more. Mhm.
So then, so just get to a practical, like, okay, so this thing exists, this principle exists, it's historical.
Yes, sir.
Um, what do people do? Like, so like action steps,
Yes, sir.
that people can take hopeful, actions, related to this medical tyranny.
Yes, sir. Well, they can talk with their legislator, their state
Mm.
legislator. But
Mhm.
how do we take it at the lowest level? My team and I, Doug, and I give credit. I don't take any credit because anything we have won, God made a way, and like I
Mm.
give Him all the glory for anything that we have accomplished. And also,
Mm.
the awesome team shows up. There's freedom fighter doctors in every state,
Right.
and all over the country. And you connect with a few of them. Maybe you have one of them come and speak for 5 minutes if your county commissioners will let you. Maybe
Mm.
you just start with your 3 minutes at the beginning of the public testimony. Almost
Mm.
every it's a matter of you call. Hey, this is literally, and I have templates of this too. I can send that to you. I maybe should have done. I can send that to you just in case,
Sure.
and even I have some letters and stuff that people can um, just use, like asking, hey, how do I would call your I'm sorry, your county clerk, very
Right.
small, and
Right.
you ask them, how do I get on the agenda? And they may say, hey, come and
Mm.
do public testimony 3 minutes, or they may say, hey, how much time do you want? We'll figure that out. I'll talk with the commissioners, and maybe you get 10,
Right.
15 minutes to explain some of the science. Maybe you have somebody in your state that is a freedom fighting doctor that doesn't mind, that's fearless. They have to be fearless because
Yes.
if you have any amount of fear, the dark side sniffs out like a shark in blood. I mean,
Mm.
you've got to be fearless because nobody knows what to do with fearless.
Mm.
Fearless and respectful. And then if you get in
Mm.
there and you're yelling or whatever, you're not gonna win.
Right.
We do not win if there's a lot of emotion. We only win,
Mm.
and we have had our wins when everybody can open up a can of truth, and it's like you can open up a zombie apocalypse can of truth in these little counties, like, what? But as long as you're calm, cool as a
Yeah.
cucumber and
Yes.
very respectful, because you will get people that will roll their eyes at you when you're talking about these children that have been devastated by the jabs.
Yeah.
You can't lose your cool,
Right.
because
Right.
anyway, so when you're calm, cool, collected, speak the truth is on
Yep.
your side. And it doesn't matter if you start with 3 minutes,
Mm.
or we started with 45. Eventually we won. I mean, we've lost as many as we
Yes.
won, but we've
Yes.
won a lot of counties now. And
Mm.
yeah, and more. I mean, we even the health districts in other parts of Idaho are working with us.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, they
Amazing.
may have not have
And
done a resolution, but they're
right.
they're ready.
Wow. Wow. That's great. Thank you for that. And
Yeah.
just a couple more questions if you have the time, just a couple of quick ones.
Yes, sir.
Um, what just on uh, so we have the Maha movement, we have Bobby Kennedy in the pit of vipers there in Washington.
Yeah.
Um, said during his campaign related to geoengineering, chemtrails, um, aerial spraying, these government programs that this has to end immediately. I'll do this on day one if I'm elected president, this sort of thing. Now he's in a pretty, significant position of authority. What's going on? Is it, what I, in my basic, non-insider understanding is like, here's what he wants to do. And then down here
Hmm.
is what he's allowed to do. So he's allowed to do something, but not what he would like to do.
Hmm.
Uh, what's the deal with the chemtrails still happening? And I guess it relates to what we've been talking about is I still don't know, given the thousands of studies, this is not anybody's opinion, of the catastrophe of the genocide jab, the mRNA injections, why they're still available, why are they still on the market, like what's
Hmm.
going on, and the same kind of question with the chemtrails, because this has been, Maha faithful are like, hey, wait a minute,
Hmm.
why is this still happening when you have somebody basically in charge who knows better? What's your
Yeah.
take on that?
Yeah. I my take, of course, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
Um, is he is just one man,
right.
and he is doing his best. And I
Yep.
believe that he has gotten it farther than anybody has in a really long
Yes.
time. He is
Yes.
surrounded, he is in quicksand, and he is in
Mm,
a quicksand in a or like a pool of sharks, and they're just waiting for him
mm,
to be gone.
mm.
And so if you imagine him in, like, administrative quicksand, it's
Right.
amazing he's got what he has done already done.
Right.
He's just
Right.
one guy, and
Yep.
and and in a entity that will be there when he's gone and was there before he got there.
Yes.
And so um I know, and I have heard from colleagues, that getting state movement is the momentum they need. Um, so
Oh.
we've gotten up to about 8 states
Mm.
at this point.
Mm.
3 are going full bioweapon, pushing back. The others are going, like, I know there's a couple more states that are going to be with me next year.
Mm.
And, Kentucky was trying this year. Uh, Tennessee, Minnesota, Arizona, doing Sansone's bill.
Mm.
Kentucky. I heard that, Oklahoma, but I think my gentleman that was going to push that got really shut down.
Mm.
But I know Montana is going to push next year, along with us with Idaho next year. But okay,
We're pushing for, is this COVID shots or chemtrails? Oh, you froze.
yeah,
Okay, so just one more time. You just froze for a moment.
no problem. We're talking about the subject that shouldn't be named, but yeah, so many states have to push, and I've been told that they're watching that and they really need it. So
Okay.
honestly, it takes all of us to push at the county level. Get your health district to defund it. Um,
Mm.
you know, I don't have an organization. I don't
Right.
take money. I don't
Right.
take donations. I don't even have a website. Like I'm going to show you I'm going to send you something. It's going to be my friend's website. I don't even have a website. I don't even
Sure.
have X space. I just call people on my
Sure.
phone and email. Um,
But Laura, the
and
thing that
mhm,
some states are moving on,
yes,
is it the chemtrails or the mRNA injections or both?
I see both. I see
Okay.
both. I'm more focused and collaborating with many states for the moratorium. There are
Yes.
lots of people that are pushing
Yes.
for also the chemtrail issue. And so I
Right.
think the chemtrail is very similar.
Okay.
But I'm not as entrenched in that one,
Right,
but
right,
I'll
right,
tell
right.
you the way to do it is states, lesser
Okay.
magistrates, because he is just one guy. He needs some
Right.
momentum and he is surrounded by sharks that want him to fail.
Yes. Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And last question.
Oh, anything.
How is the Greater Idaho movement going? Where you have, I think last I checked, 13 or 14 counties in Oregon want to have passed resolutions at the county level to join Idaho.
Yeah, no, I'm not a part of that, but
Okay,
I admire it. And
sure.
to me it's kind of almost like a lesser magistrate movement. It's
Yeah, right.
truly an organic
Right.
people movement. Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
I admire it and it sounds to me like they haven't given up.
Yes.
Um and my guess is especially as they're crushing the agriculture in Oregon,
Right.
there may be even more of a push for that because Idaho is so pro agriculture.
Totally.
They just, I think they're just passing a law in Oregon where you cannot even kill your cows. So,
Yes.
yeah. So what are
Yeah.
the ranchers going to do?
Right.
So
Right.
I think it's more important than ever that they find some solution. But
Yep.
yeah, so I don't know all the intricate details, of
Sure.
the movers and shakers in that. So I never, try to talk about anything I don't know about. But what
Right.
I do know is that I understand the sentiment, and I think they would be a blessing to Idaho. But you know, Idahoans have they're kind of reluctant with this new influx of people coming from around the nation. So I think
Oh,
they're slowly getting used to it.
right.
But they've been isolated for a really long time, and now all these
Hmm.
political refugees are pouring in.
Oh,
Um, I think, who knows what will happen with that, and I hope
yeah.
that they would be welcome with open arms. But
Sure.
politics are politics, and
Yep.
Idahoans are precious people that are very, frugal and conservative by nature.
Right.
And I understand they're worried about all these newcomers, but these newcomers are coming because they have ideals that are very similar to the courageous
Yes.
Idahoans. So yeah.
Yes. That's great. Okay, good. Thank you. Because we touch on it here, not often, but from time to time. And you're from Idaho, so just thought I'd check. So I just wanted to, I put all this in the chat for people as we wrap up. Um, this is these are just things you had mentioned along the way.
Oh, you're good.
Um, and so this is the Operation Lockstep, the Rockefeller, and our next guest is actually going to be talking about this a little bit.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but so we have a new course coming out in a couple of weeks on the history of modern medicine, Rockefeller,
Mm.
medicine in the U.S. So we have
Yes, the Flexner
our
report.
yes, yeah, the dreaded Flexner report. So anyway, that was one thing. This is all in the chat. And then we have Michael Yon, who's incredible. And then we have this lady. Oh, what's her name? Psi Energy. Oh boy.
That's okay.
Uh,
I don't know her, but I know Hope and Tavon have excellent
yeah.
from Fix the World. Okay,
Right.
just so you know, I'm not like promoting,
Right.
because she
Right.
swears a lot, FYI.
Sure.
So
Sure.
and
Sure.
I think she's had a lot of trauma in her life.
Mm,
But I definitely really admire
sure.
her level of research. She knows her stuff. And then
Great.
Karen Kingston, oh my gosh, yeah,
Yep.
she
She
is
was on
so
the
well
show
researched.
last
she's
year.
she's a
Yeah.
Christian, man. She's
She's
got a
amazing.
heart for people like you wouldn't
She's
believe. I know
amazing.
her personally.
We had a
Yeah,
great
I know her
conversation
personally.
on the
um
show. Yeah, there's her Substack.
Yes, sir. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. I know Karen. And then Hope and Tavon, I don't know, but I buy their products, believe me, because we didn't get to talk about how we help the injured so much.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but with the injured, part of that recovery is number one, getting away from LED lights and also protecting yourself from
Mm,
EMF, because there's
mm,
a very electromagnetic issue, and
mm.
an EMF issue. And so Hope and Devon, who is the other, that's Hope Girl, and they do excellent exposés on the SynBio
Okay.
system, very well
Okay.
researched, very, like you could show that to your family.
Right.
It's very clean. And anyway, so they are very focused on creating technology that protects people from EMF. Another, there's a lot of issues with injured healing, but part of that is stopping inflammatory issues,
Mm,
eating clean, and then dealing with your H1 and H2 receptors, and then also getting EMF clear,
mm.
protecting from EMF, don't have a smart meter or whatever,
Right.
and
Right.
red light therapy, photomodulation,
Photobiomodulation.
photobiomodulation,
Yep.
so many sunlight, earthing, going from um, uh, fight or flight to rest and digest, dealing
Yes.
with
Yes.
your
Parasympathetic.
parasympathetic in your sympathetic system. Yeah.
Yep.
So
So
got to
just
mention
help
that.
me out here. Which Sabrina Wallace are you talking about?
You have her. I mean, I'm not. I mean, she's pretty. She's
A
you've
little
got her.
edgy. She's a
Yeah,
little
she's
edgy,
edgy.
but
That's the word. Yeah.
which there's a ton of them here.
I
Which one is her?
Well, the girl smoking a cigarette, probably swearing was the one. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's her. And she's brilliant. I gotta say she's brilliant. And I know
Okay.
she's been hurt, and I bet she's a real sweetheart. One to one. And
Yeah.
but anyway, I mean, again, I'm not like, I'm
Sure.
just saying,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
she's
Just giving
great
people
researcher, and I don't
resources.
know her
Yeah.
personally.
No, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine. Okay.
she's edgy, but God bless her.
Yeah, yeah.
She's smart.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Well, Laura, any final thoughts that you wanted to share with our audience to feel complete for today?
Well, one, I'm sorry if I talked over you at all.
No, no,
I
no.
had some
You have
digital
so much. We could
freezing
go for
sometimes.
6 hours and
Okay.
you still have more to say. I appreciate that.
Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt. I always
Not at
embarrassed
all.
about that, and I always worry
No,
about it.
no, no
But
worries.
okay. And but the other more important one is if some of these things have seemed too heavy or overwhelming or too spiritually dark, just remember that we know the end of the story.
Yeah.
God is good, and there's no mistake that we were born for this time.
Mm,
And I always I think it doesn't matter that we can't beat all the armies of darkness.
mm,
We have been put in a sphere of influence, and that is where we are to be faithful. I
mm,
don't worry about having to beat all the dark side. I don't have to. God will.
mm,
He's big enough. I'm not. And I just hope to be faithful and give it all I've got, and go out swinging,
mm,
with where he has placed me. And so we're
mm.
just faithful where we're at. And it doesn't matter if it's just, your place of work that you're salt and light.
Yes.
Just remember to be fearless,
Yep.
and it starts small.
Mm.
Kennedy can't fix it all. Trump can't fix it all. No
Right. Right.
man or woman can.
Right.
Um, it's in God's hands, but we can be
Mm,
faithful in our little spots where we're at. So, and
mm.
thank you for having me.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Laura. You are a treasure. You are a light in this world, and the world is better because you are courageously witnessing to the light and bringing that right where you are in Idaho. And it's having ripples, as you pointed out, all over the country. And I'm very appreciative of you and your work.
Thank you. I feel the same about you. And, you've been blessing people for decades with your insight and wisdom, and, really a heart of light. So,
Mm.
anyway, thank you for having me, and, I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, not at all. Not enough, actually. We have to have you have back on the show for because I know there's like a massive pile of things that we could get into that we didn't have a chance to. So maybe I hope you'll come back to the show at some point.
Oh, anytime. And I'll definitely hook you up with Nick Culture, and somebody else you wanted.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, basically everybody
yeah,
in that you know.
okay,
Yeah,
I'll just
I
hook you up
want
with all my friends.
Well, I mean, that's part of our, we talk about natural health, but we also talk about health freedom, and you're right in there, as you said, foxhole buddies with these amazing people who are doing this courageous work to end medical tyranny, which, we've seen heavy doses of with the scamdemic. So I just want to amplify the people that are doing this important work. And so, yeah, whoever you can connect me with, I would appreciate.
You got it.
Yeah.
I
Thank you,
will.
Laura. Thanks for taking time out of your work day as well. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I got
Thank
all my patients done already this morning, and then I
Oh,
have
wow.
one more in like 10 minutes. So other
Oh,
than that,
wow.
I
Okay.
worked really hard to be ready. So
Well, you did. You are amazing. Thank you, Laura.
you
I
are
really
too.
appreciate it. All right.
Okay,
Blessings to you.
bye, and I thank your audience for listening, and thank you, and uh, call me back anytime. You guys
I
are just
will,
really kind. Thank
for
you.
sure. There's a lot of love for you in the chat. So thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Well, wow, that's incredible. Talk about right on the front line, so to speak, of this fight for health freedom, and and against medical tyranny, which is what a lot of the scamdemic was about medical tyranny, and so that's pretty remarkable. So, just going to mention a couple of things, and I'm going to bring on our next guest for the balance of the show, and a couple of things I'm super excited about. I'm going to be speaking. I got an invite to speak at this very important herbal conference, very advanced herbal gathering that's happening in May. So I'll be headed out to North Carolina and speaking in this beautiful area that I was actually last at in 1992 in the Blue Ridge Assembly, where I did a week-long intensive when I was a church organist with Matthew Fox, who's an amazing man. And anyway, I'll be returning there and giving three presentations on black cumin seed, minimizing collateral damage from chemo and radiotherapy, and an important herb, Boswellia serrata. So those are the three topics they selected. I'll also be with my new friend Donnie Yance, who's one of the brilliant master herbalists, and so I'll be looking forward to spending some time with him as well. So I just want to encourage any of you who are interested in botanical medicine. You don't have to be a clinician. You can be just a health interested person. Come to this. It's a gorgeous setting in the Blue Ridge Assembly in the mountains there in North Carolina. And this is the
Hello.
30th anniversary event, which we're really
Hey.
looking forward to. Oh, looks like we've got some. Oh, there's the mute. Okay, good. So anyway, please join us for that. It's going to be great. And that's in May. And they gave us a discount for y'all to use. So I'm just going to put that in the chat, and I'll put that in here. And then here it is. Yep, MGAE26. So you get a tuition discount, big tuition discount on your conference registration. Really be worthwhile. I've seen the list of other teachers that are coming to this. These are very amazing herbal educators. So please join us for that. Okay, so that is that. And really delighted to have our second guest here today. We're running a little late, but that's what happens in a live show sometimes. But I wanted to welcome Dr. Stephanie Thomas. She is amazing. She's also here in Colorado, and she is an awake pharmacist. She has her doctorate in pharmacy. She's very deeply steeped and skilled and trained in the pharmaceutical world. And she's come to talk to us a little bit today, kind of the backstory a little bit of how we got into this medical tyranny situation that we've been talking about for about 2 hours, related to genocidal COVID jabs and uh, medical tyranny and all kinds of disastrous things. She has gone very deep on the backstory of how American modern medicine as a field has become so utterly corrupt. And please give a warm Mondays with Michael welcome to Dr. Stephanie Thomas. Stephanie, so good to be with you. And by the way, Stephanie did an amazing presentation at our 10th annual practitioner retreat here in Colorado. And we have our 11th one coming up August 26th to 30th. But she kind of blew us all away with this very incredible history. So, anyway, Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gaeta. So I came in kind of on the tail end of this.
Sure,
I gotta
sure.
say that Laura had me all fired up, which is a little bit that I heard.
Ditto.
So, I
Yeah,
mean, it just automatically assures me that I am speaking to my target audience on this
for sure.
call, which is
This
always
is
great.
right.
I do like
Yes.
trying to have these conversations with the normies, but it's always great when I'm in good company.
Right.
So yeah, thank you for that really warm introduction. So I am a former pharmacist turned pretty staunch anti-pharmacist at this point. I
Mm.
like to say now that the only pills that I really am interested in dispensing are the red ones. And I want
I
to
love
shove them in
that.
everyone's mouth. I think we need to OD on them, honestly, at this
I
point.
love that.
Um, and so now I work with food as medicine. That was my career shift, and I feel much better ethically and morally about working with food as medicine. I think it is much more powerful. I think obviously its intentions are pure, which I cannot say
Yes.
about anything that the pharmaceutical industry does. And I would even expand that to the medical industrial complex in general. I wouldn't say this to just any audience, but I really do believe that our modern medical system is a church of death,
Mm.
which
Mm.
I know is a very strong charge to
I've
make.
used almost the same words in seminars, calling it a pseudoscientific cult of death.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And I mean, society in general and the way that we're living is kind of a death cult. So why would we
yes.
expect anything different from our medical system?
Hmm. So,
So,
Stephanie, how did
yeah.
this happen where you were, deeply steeped in pharmacy and what happened? How did you wake up and now be the anti-pharmacist?
It's a really good question. And I don't know exactly what the answer to it is. I don't know if it was some sort of divine grace that
Hmm.
tapped me. It could
Probably.
be, yeah. I mean, I think that there's something to that. I
Yeah.
also would credit it to some extent to the fact that I was experimenting with expanded states of consciousness as a young
Hmm.
person.
Okay.
And so by
Sure.
the time I got to pharmacy school, I was naive enough to get into pharmacy, thinking that I would be doing some good, but it didn't take me very
Hmm.
long to realize that I had miscalculated that whole
No.
idea.
Okay.
So I would say halfway through my education as a pharmacist, I was like, uh-oh, what have I gotten myself into? And I, read a book by Marcia Angel and,
Oh,
started
sure.
to get like the superficial level of like, oh, the pharmaceutical industry is corrupt in terms of the
Hmm.
games they play to make medication so expensive in this country with the patents and all of that.
Right.
And then I actually got into the world and started practicing in the retail setting, and I was working at the peak of the opioid epidemic.
Hmm.
And that'll shock a person who is even at least
Wow.
a little aware, because I was on the end of that whole horror show where I was the one dispensing these harmful drugs to people that were,
Oh.
clearly being negatively affected. And that was, I refer to that as the tip of the morally objectionable iceberg, because
Hmm.
I was also dispensing, medical grade amphetamines to 6-year-olds.
Hmm.
And,
Oh,
and then
Adderall?
polypharmacy being the
Adderall?
absolute nightmare that it is.
Yeah. You
I've
mean the
been trying
Adderall?
to, what's that? Yeah,
A-
Adderall. Adderall,
Oh,
Ritalin, the
wow.
concerted whole range of drugs that are out there for that. And
Right.
my job as a pharmacist was to counsel my patients on how medications may interact with one another. And when we're at, the 13th medication, I was in
Hmm.
this position where I was like, I have no idea what to tell these folks,
Hmm.
because this is the book. Yes, exactly. The truth about the drug companies. So it was just, it really shook me to the core working in
Hmm.
that field. I only made it 6 years. I was crying in my car on the way to work.
Oh,
I think I just had
wow.
this this, moral compass that was just like,
Mm.
this is not helping people, quite,
Wow.
to the contrary, doing quite a bit of harm.
Mm.
So,
So what's the
that-
current status on the opioid thing, Stephanie?
that's a really good question. I'll tell you what, Dr. Gate, I don't know the answer because once I left that industry, I never
Right?
looked back. And I've
Oh, okay.
been in a process of sort of like deprogramming. And I'm not sure what that currently looks like. I know the the way that they were being just churned out, that has shifted.
Right.
Like
Okay.
there's definitely it's a little harder now to get a prescriber to write a prescription for
Mm.
opioids, certainly in the quantity that they were being prescribed previously. So I think
Right.
it's been curtailed a little bit, but that doesn't do anything about the other harms that are just
Ah,
an
right.
inherent,
Right.
foundational structure of it.
And Stephanie, what are some of the common names that people might know these opioid drugs by, like the brand names?
Yeah, OxyContin was the big one,
Mm.
but then you
Mm.
have your derivatives like oxycodone, and then you have your
Mm.
hydrocodone, your Percocet.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
I
yeah, there's
I
a lot
have
of
to say,
variations on that theme because capitalism is really good at that.
yeah, I have to say, Percocet is awesome.
When you need it. So let me be
No, I
clear.
did.
When you need
I've had several bone fractures
hmm
and from, martial arts and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't get it. This is like a couple of days of Percocet. And
uh-huh.
of course the doctor was like, well, I can only give you, if I was like, fine, I just need to get over the next few days because this really hurts. And it
Right.
was like magic. I was like, it's gone.
Yeah.
So I'm not defending pharma, but I mean,
Sure.
wow, it was
Sure. And
impressive.
that's an important nuance that I think is worth naming, that it's not, although I do admit that I'm an anti-pharmacist, there
Sure.
are some a number of different classes of pharmaceuticals that when used appropriately are life enhancing and life saving. And
Right.
so I'm not anti-pain meds. I mean, if you have a bone fracture,
Right.
it's
Right.
better for your body to not be in that acute
Yeah.
state of stress because of
Right.
the pain. But the
Mm.
issue is when they're given out like candy and indiscriminately, which is exactly
Right.
what happened
Right.
with
Okay.
the opioid epidemic. It was, the
Mm.
Sackler family did quite well,
Mm.
but the American people, of course, did not. So, yeah, it's about using pharmaceuticals appropriately.
Right.
And yeah, when you are in acute pain, I don't think that there's anything wrong with taking a short course of
Sure.
these
Sure.
types of opioids. But once you get to that 30, I believe it's the, 3 to 4 week mark is when you start to develop
Oh,
physiological addiction to
wow.
painkillers. So short term,
Wow.
you can work with it. Long term, then your body shifts into that physiological addiction. Psychological addiction
Interesting.
is a whole other story.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, thanks
Yeah,
for that.
of course. Yeah. So I'll just real quickly, if this works for you, Dr. Gaeta,
Please.
I'll just summarize
Absolutely.
the talks that I'm going to be giving. So Dr. Gaeta has been generous enough to offer me 2 spots. So I'm doing a
Yes.
2-part talk. So the first one is about this myth of modern medicine. So exploring how our healthcare system was intentionally engineered to function the
Mm.
way that it does. I don't like to say that our healthcare system dysfunctions because it really functions as designed.
Oh, good point.
It's not that it's broken, it's that this was what it was supposed to look like all along. It's the way
Wow.
it was conceptualized. That's my take, at least. So
Mm.
at that origin story, we'll look at the architects. As you already mentioned, Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller was kind of
Mm.
the main architect. Andrew Carnegie also had a
Mm.
hand in that. He was the one who um, funded and commissioned the Flexner Report, and then Rockefeller
Right.
used his influence and vast wealth through the tool of philanthrocapitalism to force these reforms into the entire system of medicine
Mm.
and change the way that we approach medicine in general in this country.
Mm. Mm.
Then I personally am a fan of staring into the darkness. I don't know why, I'm just
Mm.
drawn to it.
Yeah.
But I realize it's not always good for everyone, including myself. So the second talk that I'll be giving is kind of moving from the shadow of the past into the light of new possibilities. And the title of that talk will be Materialist Medicine to Quantum Possibilities. And we'll
Mm.
explore alternative narratives that are coming to us from frontier sciences that are challenging these materialist paradigms
Hmm.
that tell us, that we are limited and small, and our bodies are machines that when
Right.
they break, we need an external expert to fix them. All of that is
Right.
just a bunch of garbage. And of course, they want
Right.
these other narratives to be suppressed, because if we knew how powerful we were, the whole
Yes.
system would begin to crumble.
Wow. Wow. Well, that is amazing. I'm just gonna, it's in the chat, but if you just go to our school at michaelgaeta.com, this course from Dr. Stephanie Thomas is Medicine as Myth. And I love this title, Medicine as Myth, Power, Paradigm, and the Possibility of Change. We got a mini version of this at our retreat last year, and I realized, we need to get this information, these teachings, and it's a very hopeful message that Dr. Thomas delivers. I knew we had to get this out to a larger audience, and to give Stephanie all the time she needs to stretch out on this subject, because it's really important. So this is beginning, this course starts in just a few weeks on April 13th, so 2 weeks from today. And we got one relatively shorter class, but this is going to be two longer classes on this subject. There's a great video of Stephanie, and it's just a very amazing. And I really like this just perfectly fits our school's motto of nature first, drugs last. Not that drugs are bad; they're just ridiculously overused. And as you know in your new practice, that there is a natural solution at least 95% of the time. So really looking forward to this class. It's Medicine as Myth, Power, Paradigm, and the Possibility of Change. A beautiful follow-on to what our nurse Laura offered in a very specific manifestation of this really dark paradigm. It's an illness and dependency paradigm, kind of the opposite of nature first, drugs last. And I really look forward to this. I encourage everybody to join us in this course. Spread the word. It's going to be one of the more important classes that we've offered for sure. And I really encourage folks to join us for that. And Stephanie's here for a moment. If anybody has questions for Dr. Thomas, please don't be shy. Just put that in the Zoom chat or on our watch page. And also wanted to give you all, and just a reminder that we have an early bird tuition that's going on right now. And in addition, it's against a limited time thing with the early bird. And you also have your thank you for being on the show, listening, or your MWM discount code for this course. So please join us. There's still a few days left of early bird. And this is going to be an awesome course, and you'll be able to ask questions of Dr. Thomas live, because this is a big subject. The rabbit hole is pretty deep, and she's stared into the darkness, and so it's a great opportunity to learn from her. So that's great. So coming up again, April 13th is a two-part course, which Medicine is Myth with Dr. Stephanie Thomas. 2 sessions, April 13th and 20th. And Stephanie, any final thoughts to feel complete for today?
I just want to express gratitude to you, of course, Dr. Gaeta, and then to this community. It just fills me with hope, which is
Hmm.
not something I can say very often. I don't often
Okay.
feel particularly hopeful, but being around
Yes.
people who are awake and aware and empowered,
Yes.
and passionate about changing things just, fills my
Yes.
cup. So I'm
Wonderful.
grateful for the opportunity to offer this class and to be, at least virtually present with
Yes.
like-minded and amazing people. So yeah,
Oh,
just
excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today and for offering this very significant course. So we kind of know how we got here, and then also hopeful solutions for how each of us can take steps in our lives to minimize interactions with the medical system, and to take charge of our own health. So that's great. Dr. Stephanie Thomas, thank you for being
Thank you
with us
so
today.
much.
Look forward to this course very much. Excellent. Wow. The cup runneth over. Two incredible speakers today, both emerging out of the conventional medical paradigm and awakening in that context to a much larger vision. So very thankful for all that today. So thank you, everybody. Just want to see if we had any questions that came in on our watch page. Again, michaelgaeta.com/watch. Okay, looks like that's that. And then I'm just going to check if there are questions that came in on our Zoom link. Yeah. Okay. Great. Excellent. Thanks for all the comments. Much appreciation for all the comments. Just great. Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Well, and also final announcement, and then I'm going to play the piano for you a bit. If anybody has requests for pop or jazz or liturgical or original or classical, you can put that in the chat if you like. But we are right in the middle of a course that you can join, which is in session right now. I taught the first class, and we now have today, we have 2 more classes this week and next week with Charlotte Keichel, a very popular faculty member here at the school, all about skin health and skin conditions. This has become a much bigger issue in recent times with folks just having more problems from childhood and later with skin issues. So please join us for Peeling Back the Layers, a deeper look at skin conditions. And we're going to be teaching really a mind-body approach. We're going to be looking at all the good herbs and topicals, but also some of the wounding patterns that lead to these sort of skin conditions. So we're going to be looking at very practical kind of herbal and dietary and nutritional solutions, and looking at some of the mind-body factors as well, particularly with Charlotte on the next 2 classes. So the next class is Wednesday, the 1st, and we recorded the first class last week, and then Charlotte is up this Wednesday, the 1st, and the 8th. Even though it's April Fool's Day, she will be here, and then the last class will be April 8th. We're going to be looking at a deeper perspective on the skin in addition to kind of the natural functional medicine approach. So please join us for Peeling Back the Layers and the new course, Medicine as Myth, with Dr. Stephanie Thomas. And our whole course schedule, we've got new courses every month this year, which I'm pretty excited about. We've got epic course schedule, the biggest launch of new courses this year. So it's our best year yet for new education. It's amazing. So please just go to michaelgaeta.com/course. You'll see all the details and talk about epic speakers, including Laura Desmarais and Stephanie Thomas today. But look at who's coming up on the show we're booked out through end of July, and we're booking speakers now for September and August. I mean, it's just amazing. So we just today had the amazing Laura Desmarais. Next week, April 6th, we have an amazing man, an attorney by training and first career, and now he's really deep into personal transformational work. This is Charles Coves. What an amazing guy. He is one of the leaders of the Medical Doctors for COVID Ethics International Group. And I was just on his show, and you can see that here. But he's coming up next week. On the 13th, I'll be out of town, out of country, actually. I'll be in Madeira, outside of, as part of Portugal, and but outside off the coast of Morocco. I'll be there for a few days. So we will have a replay of one of our favorite top shows from the archives, followed by Jan Jekielek, who is a senior editor at the Epoch Times, will be with us on April 20th. Dr. Susan Downs of the Silicon Valley Health Institute and Occupy Health. The great Paul Thomas's wife, Dee Dee Hoover, who is a fellow massage therapist, will be talking about children's mental health. Then the incredible Captain William Thompson, the founder of the Wild Horse Fire Brigade. Lynn Scott Hagerman, I was just on her show recently. And then one of our graduates are for our functional medicine program, which I strongly recommend to you if you're a practitioner, Dr. Michael Priestman. Richard Bosshart, a retired surgeon. Scott Schauer comes back to the show. His daughter, Grace, was murdered in a hospital by the hospital staff. And he's going to be talking about his new book, Is the Government Legally Killing Us? James Barry, my new favorite seasoning, Pluck Seasonings. Alex Mayer just recorded a great show for her show, and she'll be on the show in June. Ian Trottier. We're going to have a patriotic 250th happy birthday celebration on July 6th, followed by Ronald Owens, Julie Threet, James Thorpe, Curtis Cost, and one of our faculty, Isabella Wentz, and several others who we're just nailing down dates with. So amazing schedule of presenters coming up. So thanks to all who have donated and made a contribution to support the show. Thank you. To the many of you who have made single donations, recurring monthly donations to keep this show going and free for our team, to keep it coming to you every week. So thank you for that. And we have done it. So thanks, everybody. Trying to think we didn't have any music requests. Let me just check the watch page just to make sure. No music requests. I'll pick out something. And thank you again for being with us today. Blessings to you and yours. Fear not, have courage. The most important quality for a human being to have today, right now, to make a difference in the world is courage. Without that one virtue, the others don't really mean anything. So, and we're talking to two courageous doctors today, Stephanie Thomas and Laura Demery. So thanks, everybody. Blessings to all. We'll see you next week, and have a great week. Okay, bye-bye. All right, there it is. It's set up properly. Oh, here's Bentley. He wanted to say hi before I play some music. He's going to help me play a little something for you, my long-haired mini dachshund. And yay. All right. All right, very good. Thanks, everybody. Great show today, and we'll see you next week. Yeah. All right, this is from my first career as a church organist. This is called Send Us Your Spirit. Okay. Thanks, everybody. That was called Send Us Your Spirit, one of my favorite tunes from my previous career. Still enjoy playing it for you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week and take care. Blessings to you.